All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So I'm going to be covering MRAI, AVTX, and TIVC. All right, the first thing to throw out, man, this Discord group. All right, on the 16th, Mr. Onion, I think he actually called it out before. We've been talking about it before, but nonetheless, on the 16th, not yet. Today, he says today, super early. I actually got out of bed really early. If you're here, you know I don't put my first hello until like 8:30 Pacific, man, maybe even closer to 9, right? I enjoy my sleep. But MRAI, like the next hour was going to dictate I meant to say day, not date, but yeah, it went crazy. And obviously we were talking about it a bunch of times, all right? Um, I mentioned it here, and it's really going to be the thing I stress. Look, MRAI was less about just some like meme rocket, and there's some like technical movements, all right? I think the same is actually about to happen at TIVC, and that's going to be the third one I cover. But yeah, this was beautiful. We'll leave the lines and then I'll talk about them, right? But yeah, I mean, today was a fantastic day for sure, all right? Um, AVTX, it's funny because, after I make the videos, I'm obviously going on Discord, I'm going on Twitter, I'm going on stock twits, I'm putting some thoughts into words and posting them. And AVTX, I was a little critical about myself on how I analyzed the 9 cent all-time low number. So we'll talk about that a bit. But yeah, yesterday closed on it. Today was, I say it, right? Bounce or die. And hey, so far it bounced. We just need to confirm, all right? But we'll talk about all that and more. But before we go any further, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to this channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad. Look, anything you can do helps me so much with these YouTube algorithms. Never hesitate to disagree with me, and more than anything, just thank you so much for being here, all right? So let's get into MRAI, all right? And look, there are a number of things to call out. I will tell you very simply, right? What's today? So today was this set right here, right? Today was the 21st, and this was the go. So what time did I see? This is where I try to like do more than I planned for, and let's not do that. I was going to try to explain why I woke up, like I said, and what ticked it off, but let's just talk about the charts like we normally do, all right? So the first thing to really call out is, look, how this thing works, right? If you break the 8, you go to the 20. If you break the 20, you go to the 50. You break the 50, you go to the 100, right? And I mean, that's what we were doing. We actually gap above 3 moving averages on this day, right? We go from under them all to magically over 3 of the 5, more than half, right? We then struggle to confirm. We then get a critical doji on a key line, and boom. Excuse me. I completely missed this. There's no pretending like I made no money on this, right? But lo and behold, we actually get the same thing here. This doji under the line. And hey, I'll be honest, I don't think there were very many indicators that said after Monday's close, today was going to be the good day. All right, I'll be like, when you see this doji and then this drops, there's decent reasons to get worried. Look, in a lot of ways, it was nowhere near falling below the 8 moving average. In a lot of ways, it was nowhere near losing a significant amount of this big candle. Maybe I'm actually like kind of oversimplifying that. Maybe this actually was still a decent trigger to say, hey, we're still close. Nonetheless, for me, what caught my eye, and I was trying to go into the moment when it did it, but I mean, you can get it, right? Once I'm going to delete this line. I am going to delete this line because this was more about, I'll explain to you why I put that there. Once we got over this blue line, okay? Once we got over this blue line, where were we? This is what I want. That's why this line was there. We all of a sudden started to fall into this sea of red all the way to up here. That's the only green candle. And this line is the bottom of these. Look, I'm telling you, like, the fact that we nearly wicked it makes a lot of sense to me. Don't get me wrong, right? But literally from breaking the blue line all the way to this little like horizontal moment, red, 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 green, 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 green. I'm telling you, it sounds like such a silly little catchphrase. It's actually one of my wife's favorite catchphrases for my videos, but red, 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 red is dying. Look, first off, red, 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 red will continue to red, 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 as long as you're under the 8 moving average and under the 8 and the 20, right? So, like, don't get me wrong. I hope none of you wrote this down, right? But when you become on the better side of the 8 and the 20, when you find yourself on the opposite sides of these, this rocket, the 62%, this was less about crazy meme silliness, and this was a technical dream. Break a line, break the 100, go to the 200. That's the expectation. And again, a sea of red makes it a very easy green, all right? This is going to be a little bit of a difficult line. You can't like, this is the most horizontal the stock has been, really, I mean, in this entire view that we're looking at, right? Since July, this was our only horizontal moment, and except for this drop right here, right? So I can see this line being something, but again, you hear me generally say it. I put way more value, and I don't even want to say general, I would say like 9.9 out of 10 times. Like, I put way more value on these 5 computer generated lines than my own. You know what I mean? Like, knock on wood, I'm good enough to draw some lines, and I'm good enough to like draw them and put them on YouTube and like take the good or bad, right? But break the 100, go to the 200, right? Like, that's the expectation. And man, I mentioned it on, I think the, I don't even know what's going on there. I mentioned it on the MEM one, if I'm not mistaken. Right here. Okay. I could see this dropping to $1.20. All right. Why can I see this dropping to $1.20? Because again, oftentimes if you're going to come down, you're basically going to come down to roughly half of this. If I'm not mistaken, maybe the $1.20, yeah, this thing closed at 121, right? So my 120 number was a combination of the only green in the sea of red and, roughly speaking, half of this real big candle, right? I like that we're holding after hour. You know, I put no value in after. I don't want to say no value, but very, very little value, okay? If you're going to run 62% and hold after hours, oh man, you know what I mean? So I like that this MACD is positive. Look, 86 is a high RSI. It definitely is, right? As I zoom out as well, like, there aren't a lot of moments where the RSI is this high, okay? This is kind of the next big peak right here. What are you at? 79, right? Again, as I click up here, we are in uncharted waters, right? So this 86 RSI is a really, really interesting number. Again, the crazy thing is, it kind of looks like both lines are diverging. Again, diverging just means the lines are going away from each other, and we like green going away from red, green going away from red. Like, that's good. And I think the one thing that's catching my eye is we had a little volume break of the 50 moving average followed by a rocket. I don't know if tomorrow's going to give us some crazy volume or not. I think maybe some after hours movement might make that happen. The other thing to just note is, look, on this day alone, people bought, roughly speaking, look, 54 million shares were traded on this single day, and more were actually bought than sold. That's why this thing is green, right? So let's, you know, I'm kind of making up numbers, right? But end of the day, the amount of selling on those 5 little days, I don't even think takes away from this one big one right here. My wife just sneezed on that, and I have a weird superstition about sneezes, but there are a lot of people that are buying and holding this. They are still watching this thing go up, and in a lot of ways, again, like I said, it makes me believe that we want to come to at least this 200. Look, I don't want to start going a little, like, this is the next line really that seems significant. Maybe this guy right here around 250, give or take, but I can just see that 250 number kind of being the wick over the 200 if that's the way it wants to go, you know. But getting over the 200 has been a very real difficulty. We've obviously done one rocket, kind of this like other weird day, and then just couldn't confirm end of the day. that's the money line. There's no other way of saying it. I do believe we're going to go there. I do. And again, one more time, this is a beautiful technical movement. When the lines are this space, when you've got a sea of red, 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 oh man, it doesn't even take a crazy big volume candle to do it. An interesting little downtrend on volume right there. I kind of did just notice it. There's like a little bit of a healthy kind of ramp from this one. What was this first day right here? Volume was 3.8. Today was 7. That's not bad between those two, I guess. But yeah, end of the day, I like the spacing between here. I think we're going to get over this. I got to believe once we get here, the RSI is going to get too high. So I'm not exactly confident we're going to get over that 210 number. I don't even think we're going to really significantly break $2 just yet. But ideally, we kind of hit that chill there and then go. Damn, this is an interesting weekly chart. That's the 230. Damn, and then that's what's this? 230, 235. What are you on the daily? 235, 235, 211. Where's 235 at? Give me a second. I'm talking to myself, obviously. I apologize. That's 238, close enough. What does that hit? Yeah, roughly that. See, I came a little higher when I was yeah. Interesting, 238. I don't think I'm going to draw that. Do I want to draw that? I don't think we need to draw that. No, I don't think so. Again, I think there's going to be a little bit of get over the 200, stall on the 200. Hopefully it rips. Otherwise, it's going to be this again. We're going to go over it. We're going to stall on it. And then we're going to fall. The goal is this, that. All right. MRAI. I have no idea what the news has been over the last day. I have no idea why this thing did this. I'm going to delete this line because obviously this one was more just to show you about the red, 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 red. I'm going to keep this line. I think that's a good one to have. And then really, again, I'm less concerned about this and I think more concerned about this. Again, on the low end, I think this can come down to the 120s. Hopefully, and I'd be really scared actually if it got anywhere near it, but like, yeah, hopefully we do not go anywhere near, let alone below that 101, right? You can see the average 100 in the box over there is 101. We cannot lose that. Otherwise, I actually think it'll be a pretty fast fall to the 75s. But again, I actually think 120 is the lowest. Otherwise, I'd be a little surprised if we didn't hit the 2s tomorrow, actually. So, and then, like I said, this weekly's actually a little bit on the interesting side. I don't want to make too many crazy assumptions here. I think the 235 is probably a little bit of why I'm just a little bit more confident now. I do not have $4 dreams on a $1.45 stock. I can tell you that much. It still needs to do a good amount more before I'm thinking that. All right. But hey, the last thing to just end it on is this is the biggest volume moment for the stock. All right. Now, clearly we haven't like held it and gone like this, but yeah, this thing had 2 little blips and then disappeared. And realistically, you can actually say it had 1 blip, right? This one, again, was even less significant than these ones, right? So we've had some monster days here. You know what I mean? So you can't take away from that as well. But MRAI, I like it. I like the setup going into tomorrow as well. All right. AVTX, let's talk about AVTX here, all right? And first and foremost, you know I am not here to spread fear. I never really use the words buy and sell, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not here to tell you what to do with your own hard-earned money, right? But I'm here to not be a fanboy either and tell you things are great when they're clearly not, and you know, all that sort of stuff, all right? I only put that disclaimer on a couple tickers, and this is one of them, all right? One thing, and I started the video with this, look, the entire, month, I would say, of videos on AVTX has been, are we going to hold this 9-cent line, or are we going to break this 13, 14 cent line? Ooh, hold on, sorry, that's my wife's phone right there. Hold on. This looks like spam, actually. Here you go. No, it's okay. One thing that I said actually on my Twitter comments and my stock twit comments after my video was, you know, we actually haven't closed on this 9 cent line as much as I've been worrying for. Because, yeah, obviously we hit it there. Obviously we hit it there. And then we actually don't hit it again until yesterday. All right. Clearly on my videos, that scared me. That scared me. And that scared me, right? But none of those actually hit the line. And my thing always is whether we're going up and trying to break it or whether we're going down and trying to like not lose the support, right? A line can only do so much before it's gone, all right? Up or down. And roughly speaking, I've always used like 4 or 5 as my number. You can only hit a line 4 or 5 times before the line's not going to do the job anymore, whether it's a resistance stopping you from going up or that last line holding you down, right? And I think what scared me was this was one that kind of looked like 2. That was the real 2, kind of looked like 3. That looked like 4. That looked like 5. That looked like 6. This is actually only the real 3rd one, right? And yeah, I think, and I still don't know, you know, as I'm looking at the chart and I'm saying the thoughts that I still had on the last video today, I'm still not sure, because, you know, end of the day, you generally hear me say I value these moving averages more. All right. I'm just a dude, right? I'm just a regular person. I got no crystal ball or anything like that. Like, these are my regular human drawing some regular lines. And if you watch my videos, I'm really not even here for like perfection on these lines, right? So I definitely hold more value to these. And man, all we're doing is struggling with an 8 and a 20 that's coming down. That's what this stock does a lot. Struggles with the 8, hits the 20, struggles with the 8. Like, that's what this stock does a lot. Struggles with the 8, gets to the 20, struggles with the 8, hits the 20, struggles with the 8 for months on end, right? Now, don't get me wrong, it can do good things over it. And you always hear me say good things happen over these lines. But the reality is we are under the lines. We are under the lines, and they're seemingly going down closer and closer to this, right? So, man, I end of the day know this so much. Yesterday's close on the line was a very, very significant. If I thought this was a bounce or die situation, I probably made the video actually on the 13th, if I had to guess, on this doji. You know I love me some doji candles, right? But we've seen the doji near the line, and my expectation is a big candle up or a hard one down. Again, we have a doji near the line. I'm expecting this. Damn, I wish I had more decimals. How close are we to 10? I'm expecting this basically to come to 0.099, basically half of this 14th candle. So almost 10, because you can see 10's right there. Like I'm like at the border of 10 and 9, right? Or this thing's gonna slip below the line, all right? And again, if we slip below the line, I care less about the first slip and more about the second one. You know what I mean? Confirmation matters up or down, okay? The other thing I've been talking about is, you know, I've been wanting that 14-cent line, but the problem is I wanted the 14-cent line here when my next line up was all the way there. Here, when my next line up was all the way there. Now, my line at 14 is only going to take me up about a penny or 2, right? So, like, that kind of sucks. And yeah, I'll be honest with you, I like 17's now my money line. If this thing can get over 17 cents, man, you're actually in a fantastic place, because I'm going to lower this line, actually. I'm going to lower that 20 to 17. Red, 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 red. Whole mess of up and down real quick. That's going to be a beautiful channel from 17 to 35. That's nearly a 2x move right there, right? So there's way more to love above 17 than anything below 17, all right? And maybe, like I said, you can kind of justify that 13 to 17. That's actually not a bad percent move up, but yeah, I think 17 cents is for sure the money line. And again, like I said, that's going to get you over this little cluster of candles and just in a beautiful red, 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 okay? MACD doesn't look too bad. It looks like there's a little baby divergence kind of trying to happen, right? We've kind of seen that and lost it, seen it and a little bit lost it. I guess we're holding it a little more. RSI is kind of going up as well, right? But look, we've been at this number, at this 53, before we went back down, came back up, went like, I need this to like get a nice little RSI push. And I think end of the day, none of that's going to happen until 10. Maybe the move from 10 to 13 is a little more justifiable as I'm looking at this. Because I think if 10 cents was to break, getting over that 20 moving average, I think there's a decent shot. That's a nice little red, kind of an insignificant right there, continuing some, like, that's not a bad chant. I'm going to lower this 12 line. Because even that 12 line is essentially the 50 moving average at this point. I think it's justifiable to go in from 10 to 13 because that's a 30% move, right? I'm not sure it's, I mean, if you're in right here, obviously you're hoping to break that and that, right? Like if you don't play this, you might as well skip this and then get in over that. I think that's the best way I would say it. But man, more than anything, we cannot lose that 9-cent line. And dude, we need some volume. The one thing I'm starting to see, I think this is where I'll end it. Volume average is now starting to come down. Okay. What was bringing us up was holding as this was not holding, right? And now this is starting to take over that 50-day average math. And now we're starting to significantly drop. And eventually the average line is going to come down here to 37 million instead of the 8, like it's going to drop by half. Once that happens, it might actually be a little bit easier to start breaking this line. And that is when we might start to make some moves. All right. So, overall, yeah, this was weird, I guess. I guess this wasn't as definitive as a lot of my AVTX videos have been. I still have to lean on this thing going below that line and falling into all-time lows. I know that's not what people want to hear, right? Like no one wants some random dude saying, I think this thing's going to drop a bunch. I think 17 cents is where I'll start to think about some significant money being made, right? That's not a bad 30% window. It's not, you know? And I think that's kind of a summation of all this. Again, I wish this was just a little bit more definitive. I hope I didn't waste your time. Let me know. And you know you're not going to offend me if you say that, right? But yeah, I think that's all I got on AVTX right here. And we will take a look at TIVC. Okay. This is an interesting one for a few reasons, all right? Number one, and really the main one, is this 50 moving average line, all right? This thing has been an impossibility since a year ago. Literally, I'm clicking into roughly November 20th-ish when we lose that red line and basically just struggle there on after, right? There were a couple moments where we get close to it, right? You can see the getting close to it moments. There's a couple, we'll call them insignificant candles that get over it, but today was the first real significant candle over that line. Okay, again, this is some like insignificant doji, right? You know, if you watch my videos, I like the outlined green more than the filled in green. These filled in greens are, I don't like those. If you know, like, hey, green is green, right, baby? I'm not trying to say 7% day is not good, but that's not a good green candle. You know what I mean? I hope you know what I mean, right? But this is an interesting candle. This is an interesting candle on a day I'm looking, yeah, okay, it does. Oh, it does. So the volume today was 1.4 million. We barely broke that 50 average line. If this thing can monster break the volume, oh man, all right. Now look, you know, you hear me say it all the time. I don't get too excited on a single candle. All right, you should never do that because a broken clock works twice a day, right? I mean, one candle is nice, but believe me, you need confirmation, right? If this thing was going to come down, it's basically going to come down to $2. All right, roughly speaking, it's the top of this. The top of this was 201. Roughly speaking, $2 is about half of the candle. And really, I don't know the math. You know, I don't know the math, but that 8 moving average is coming up. It makes sense to me that it's probably going to get around $2 tomorrow. So I think on the low end is $2. If we lose $2, 185 better hold. Otherwise, it actually might be a really fast drop down to the like 150s, all right? Ideally, we never see any lower than 2 on TIVC, all right? The hope is, let me just draw this line, all right? Like if this thing just goes up, if this thing can get over basically 230, right? I'm going to draw this line as well. The expectation is we would break the 50 and go to the 100. And I mean, look, there's nothing else in that channel between these two lines except red, 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 green, 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 red, 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 green, 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 red, 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 red. That should make this a quick green, 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 basically adding one more dollar, going from 230 to 330, roughly speaking, right? So if this thing can get over 230, oh man, it might be a quick $1 move. Maybe this like 275 will hold it up a little bit, but break the 50, go to the 100 screams a little louder to me than that 275, you know? Again, it has been a 1 year impossibility to get, look how easy it is to see that red 50 moving average line this far out from this November line, essentially. For essentially a year, we've been well under that line. And hey, most of the time, because obviously including this as well, we've only really been over it that many times, right? Couple months, we'll call it. We have been well below the 50 instead of above it, all right? And like I said, this was the first good candle over the line. $2 on the way down. Hey, no one wants to see this drop to 2. It's a little more than a 10% drop, but holding 2 would be bullish still and still make us want to believe we're going to go up, right? It's all about breaking the 50, going to the 100. Make it believe, make you believe. But yeah, I think this is a really nice channel. Again, I don't know if you watched the first one or not, but it reminds me of this right here. We were talking about break the 50, go to the 100. This one is break the 100, go to the 200. If you can break the line and you're sitting in just like a nice red, 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 green, 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 green is what you'll see. And this one happened to bring it on a single day, right? So TIVC, make me believe that we've broken that line, get over this little 230 line that I just drew, right? And man, it's nothing but fast up and downs that make me believe we'll break the 50, go to the 100. Tomorrow could be a really nice confirmation candle. Hey, even going to that 275 that I mentioned that might slow it down would still be confirmation, all right? The thing is, Wednesday is now the weekend, right? There is no Thursday or Friday trading, Thanksgiving holiday, right? So kind of keep that in as a factor. I really wish I said that on the other ones, but let me know your thoughts and opinions. Otherwise, as always, hey, thank you.